but we keep winning. Thank you for your support. Love and peace always, y'all. Let's go.
I go by Pusha Prime, 1/4 of the Wandering Assassins. Your favorite mask assassin, always Tampa will win. Billboard P, if you know, you know. The Bayway, Wild Guan. We here. Let me know what you want to know about me.
Streets Talk Team.
What's going on, Preme? How did you get your name?
So how I got my name, big shouts to Reaching Nova. He's the one that kind of like put my name together. But Prime stands for Poetry and Rhythm Elevates Minds Effectively. The pushing part came because he was reaching Nova and I was like Pusha Prime. So we just kind of like kept the connectivity of the names. And honestly, like I feel like a lot of people do that. Like, you know, groups and pairs and things of that nature. And I'm always pushing towards something, you know what I'm saying? I was the kid in high school that was like trying to sell you a jersey or trying to sell you shoes or trying to flip shit on eBay or trying to sell you lunch passes. Like I was that guy. Mixtapes, like I was making like a nice little mixtape for you guys to listen to, stuff like that from that era. But, you know, I feel like the name kind of just chose me. You know, a lot of people was like, oh, where you from? You're from Queens, so like, you know, and 50 Cent and you're like Supreme, and I was just like, all right, I guess whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you just gotta keep it going. But one thing I will say though is that the name kind of like fits everything I got going on because like rhythm and poetry is I'm always moving that in different kind of forms, whether it's just, you know, with my Afro beats or if I'm doing it with like hip hop or if I'm doing it with like pop music or dance music or Afro fusion. So, you know, rap is rhythm and poetry. So it just kind of all comes together at the end of the day.
What was your favorite food in high school?
Oh man, in high school, it was the wings and fries, boy. The wings and fries with the honey mustard, that was my joint. And sometimes, you know, people put up with the pizza boxes. I don't know if they, you know, I haven't been to school in a minute, but I think like chicken is like the one thing that kind of like lets you into the introductory of like luxury. Like, yo, I'm getting wings and fries in high school. You know, I'm like, you're not getting that at the crib. Like you're getting like rice and beans, or you know, I'm African, so you're getting cassava leaves, jollof rice, which is amazing, you know, in retrospect. But as a kid, you're not trying to eat that. You're trying to eat American food, McDonald's, Burger King, stuff like that. So that was my joint, man. Big shout outs to the lunch ladies, man. They was holding it down.
What were some of the fun things you did in high school?
Some of the fun things I did in high school was just making music with my friends, yo. That was like, I look forward to that, you know, just kind of just between the battles, between like figuring out new ways to record. Back then it was called Fruity Loops, right now it's called FL, working on production, you know, calling someone on the phone, having your rhymes memorized and be like, yo, Vaughn, yo, Bonds, this is what I got. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Like that was like dope to me, you know what I'm saying? And the hustling portion of it, like, you know, like I love the fact that like, you know, I had the Gucci yard and then I had home ec. I knew how to sew and I was putting it all together and they try to flip the shirts, stuff like that. Or rocking with my man Tremel and we was like trying to flip shoes from eBay and stuff like that. Or thrifting before thrifting was like a thing. And, you know, I think school in general is no different from like life. You know what I'm saying? It's a community of different individuals that's always coming together and trying to just make sense out of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like when you ain't got no bills, it's kind of different. For me, like I've always been working, always been hustling, stuff like that. You know, just coming from New York, it just grows you up a lot faster than like the normal child. You know? That's a good question though. It's all good.
What was your favorite sport to play?
Oh yeah, basketball all day long. All day long. I thought it was Iverson back then. You know what I mean? Basketball basketball is life, yo. Ball is life. That shit is real. That shit is real. Anybody that play basketball, know that shit is real, bro. There's like so much that goes on to it, you know what I mean? From like decision making to, you know, camaraderie, just building with people, to being in very awkward situations to like one day you're gonna be the man, you dropping points, and one day you're not the man. And you gotta be okay with that. Working with a team. That's how I build my shit. You know what I'm saying? I build my shit basketball. Like my whole life is like a metaphor of basketball. Like you have to have the coach, you gotta have a guard, you gotta have the center, you gotta be able to communicate, you gotta be able to pick and roll, someone who's just gonna just be there so that you can get to the spot, but you gotta make sure you take care of them, you know what I'm saying, on the back end, you know, if you feel what I'm talking about. So yeah, ball is life, man. You know, and not to knock any other sport, but like basketball to me is like being physical and being cerebral all together in one.
Okay. So what's a studio session like with Pusha Prime?
A studio session with Pusha Prime is like organized chaos. So I like to write. Well, I like the idea of writing, right? I like, you know, trying to come up with like metaphors and witty lines and stuff like that. But then when I take it to the studio, it don't really align with like the way my melodies go. So we normally do top lines, and then after the top lines, I'm trying to like put the words behind it. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen a video with Future or Young Thug, it's just like that for me. And my producers are very hand-on. So we're like using my vocals as a part of the beat, and we're just like piecing it. So it's like here, 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 here. And we just make the full song from there. You know what I'm saying? It's like beautiful noise, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Do you write your songs before you go in the studio? Do you memorize your verses?
No, no, not anymore. Not anymore. I feel like when I memorize my verses, the flow is too too stiff, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to say this word like that, and sometimes when you're like enunciating a word, depending on if you're smoking or depending on what you're drinking, it's like it has like a different kind of like layer to it, and that millisecond might throw something off in the record. So I kind of like to live in the embodiment of the song, give a lot of space in, kind of see it what the music's giving me and play towards it. So because I have a band, I make music a lot differently because I feel like I'm like an instrument. So if the band's doing like da 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 da, I'm like this piece and it's like da 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 ba 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 da 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 ba ba ba. I'm just trying to like, you know what I'm saying, just mesh in really well. And that's why basketball is so important to me, because you have to have that three-man weave when you're making music. For me, you know what I'm saying? Some people are a little bit different. They can kind of like do what they do. But for me, I just feel like I try to build like a building the beat.
So how long have you been making music?
I say for like a good like 10-year stretch, yo. But it could be longer. For me, I don't believe in time, so it's like it's also like one long ass day to me. You know what I mean? And then like the more that I achieve to like the next level, my life globe just changes all around me. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're playing, I don't know, Mario, right? You're playing Mario Brothers and you got the cape, right? It's the same Mario game, the same characters, the same bosses, all that, but now you got a cape and you can fly. So that's kind of like how I look at life. Like, how can I just continue to level up as much as possible till I see what the highest level is?
What is your biggest record to this date?
My biggest record to this day, I would have to say, is a tie between Adam and Eve and Heaven and Night. Heaven and Night is what I got the Billboard for, but Adam and Eve has been the most like universally accepted song that I have. You know, I think the melody is really cool. Everyone can relate to it. And it's still like me. You know, the song's called Adam and Eve, but the parentheses like can't let you go. That's like, you know, and it was really just about me feeling like Adam, how Adam felt with Eve. Like you kind of like turned your back on me, but I can't let you go because I love you. And I feel like a lot of people deal with that with their exes or like girls that they're with right now. It's like, oh my God, you're so annoying, but I love you so much. I'm gonna stick with you and we're gonna just ride this shit out.
Isn't that what love is?
Mm. Yeah, I think love is more so like it's a commitment. You know what I'm saying? It's like a commitment. But then like love sometimes it's tricky, man. Love could sometimes just be like, you know, how people call like the emotion. It could just be like the attachment that you have when you make the agreement of attraction. So when you're attracted to something, you know, to like over to an extent to where you're going to commit to it, I think that's what love is. I don't know. Like you guys could tell me in the comment if you feel like that's what it is, but you know, that's the best thing I can say about love. Because I can love children, I can love my homie, I can love my wife, I can love basketball, I can love shoes, and for me, they all come with like 4 agreements that I make with this particular item. All right, so which one of my dreams came true? I think being able to make a decent living from music. Because when you're doing this, right, you're not thinking about the money when you first get into this, right? You just want to make something dope that all your friends like, right? Then as you get into this a little bit more and you understand that studio costs money, marketing costs money, gear costs money, then you're like, damn, actually have to turn this shit into like some kind of like monetary train so I can get all these things so I can get better. It's like 2K, right? You got 2K, you got your fucking brown shirt and your sweatpants. You can't even fucking dunk, you know what I'm saying? You'll be like 7 foot tall, you can't even dunk. You don't got enough VC, right? So I think being able to get like enough VC to be able to like chart on Billboard, throw my own shows, put niggas on, make merch, and like be like revered in my city, that was like the dream come true, because when we was in high school, all we wanted to do was just be recognized for making music, and then now I got that. And then all I wanted to do was like have my niggas who feel the same way I feel about just like their dreams, being able to accomplish it, but having the knowledge because someone else does it. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like that was it for me. You know what I mean? Really and truly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any artists that you're looking forward to working with?
Oh man. I would say definitely there's some artists that I would like to work with here in Tampa, and of course outside of Tampa. In Tampa, I would say I do want to work with Just Swift. I think he's really dope. I would love to work with, man, there's so many. It's like hard to just kind of like come off the head with it. I would love to work with, oh man, this kid named TTK. He's really dope. He walks along the championship belt. He's really dope. But I've worked with, Brick. I've worked with Tom G. I got songs with Tay Bay. I got co-songs from Tampa Tony. I worked with a lot of people, LA to Go, I got the records with, so I've been able to accomplish that, but I think I want something like the legends, you know what I'm saying, from the city, stuff like that. Now, if we talking on a more, like, grander scale, I wanna work with Travis Scott, I wanna work with Beyonce, I wanna work with Taylor Swift, I wanna work with Pharrell, Tyler, the Creator, and of course, Doechii. Only because I feel like I don't even know how I even missed Doechii, because we've done shows together, we know one another, and it's just like, how the hell did I never make that connection? But on God's time, you know?
Have you been approached by any labels?
Have I been approached by any labels? I've been approached by labels. We're not in talks anymore. We kind of like had a situation going on with Rock Nation. I think when it comes to the label thing, you really have to know why and understand the reach, right? Like when a brand reaches another brand, there has to be some kind of like agreement and some profit for those two to kind of mesh together. So for me, what I'm doing right now is I'm just using what I can to provide those open doors, so that the labels that I do talk to is like I'm able to kind of keep my artistic integrity, but I'm also able to conduct business and use the resources that they are allowing me to use. But I've been doing more like brand deals like PDQ, Street Like Tacos, Coppertail. I think that's where my future's gonna be, like working with these companies that music kind of intertwines with their marketing anyway, and I'm gonna just use my gift and my tools to be able to take it to the next level.
How did you get the PDQ sponsorship?
So PDQ, that came actually from my man Nas, rest in peace. Fred was asking me to like come to PDQ and talk to the kids, which I enjoy doing. Like I'll do that for free any day of the week. So I was going to PDQ, buying food for the kids, and just kind of just like telling them about like how being an artist is like you guys being good at school. It's hard work, dedication, consistency, and you get results that way. And from there, the owner of that particular store was like, "Hey man, you want to do this all the time?" Da, 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 da. I was like, "Well, I'm actually having a listening party, for my project. You should come through." He came through. He's like, "Hey, I'll bring some food for your guests." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Appreciate that." And he was in love with the whole process, because we had the listening party. DJ Jarrell was there. El Nice was there. We had a bunch of people there. And then in the midst of us listening to the music at the studio, I had a fucking fashion show. So he's just like, "Oh, this nigga is super different." So he's like, "Hey, we want to be able to kind of like do dope things like this with PDQ, because PDQ is all about the arts." And I'm like, "Yeah, we can continue doing it. I have a nonprofit I work with my man Fred, with Foster Kid. Let's keep it going." So we did it again when we did the book bag drive. We did a book bag drive in Ybor, giving out the book bags just raising book bags so we can give them out to the less fortunate. And then from there, it was like, "Hey, like Preme, we love everything you got going on. Just keep it going." And then from there, I was like, "Hey, how can I help you?" You know what I'm saying? Do I need to do like that? Do like chicken wing contest? I gotta do this, because at the end of the day, like they're providing the food, but I know that food costs money. You feel me? So I want to let them know that, like, hey, if you support the arts here in Tampa, we will support you back, because chicken goes hand in hand with beer, chicken and beer, but that also goes hand in hand with entertainment and music. Because at the end of the day, it's all about art. You guys have an art when you guys make food, and we have an art when we make music and entertainment. So it was really just a holy matrimony coming together, man.
So how did you get the beer sponsorship?
Oh man, that came from big shout out to my man Brian. So Brian put me on a beer tour. I did the beer tour and met Paul at Zydeco. So when I met Paul at Zydeco, we just had like a natural bond with one another. He's from Philly, I'm from New York. So it was just really, really natural. And then he caught word, his man JJ that works at Coppertail was like, yo, I think Preme does music. He didn't know me as Preme. I just went there as like whatever. And he's like, yo, you do music? And me and Paul was so cool. I was just like, yeah, here you go. And he was like, bro, like, what? What's going on? You're like, you're really dope. Like, I need to come to a show. So he came to like 3 shows and he noticed I didn't have beer at my shows. I didn't have his beer. I didn't have Zydeco. So he was like, yo, we should work on a collab. I'm like, I'll only do a collab if you let me do the merch for it and you let me come with the ideas for it. So I know that most people don't like beer, right? But I know mostly everybody likes apples. He's like, yo, let's do apricot because if we do apricot with apple, it's gonna taste like champagne. And I'm just like, that's genius because beer could kind of taste like champagne if it's light enough. So we sat there, we cut the strawberries. No, we were gonna do apple, but he switched to strawberries. I was like, all right, let's do strawberries. So we called strawberries and Preme. So we did strawberries, he put the apricots in there. I was fucking in there tussling that shit. And then that shit came out beautiful. So, you know, I became one of the only rappers in Tampa that had a beer on tap for the whole duration. We did an event. The event was beautiful. You know, big shouts to everyone that pulled up in there and tried it. People don't even drink beer was rocking with it. People was copping it. People was like taking pictures. So it was a really good feeling because like I didn't think it was gonna go to that level because like beer is more so like on an end where they don't really rock with rappers, but they weren't looking at me like a rapper and looking at me like an artist. So, you know, that's how we made that connection with them. Big shout out to Zydeco too, man, for real.
So how did you start putting your shows together?
So how I started putting my shows together was because of Mike Mass, H, and Broken Mode. So Mike Mass was always telling me to throw my own show because I used to ask Mike Mass, like, put me on the show, put me on the show, put me on the show. And he's like, bro, I go put you on these shows, but they're curated a certain kind of way. You make a certain kind of music. Just throw your own shows. So it's like, So it came from, what's this nigga's name, yo? His nigga's so irrelevant. Oh my God, man. I want to say his name so he knows. But it'll come to me, y'all. I'm probably gonna put it in the comments. But anyway, I did a show with Tone Capone, and he was working with this one dude. And we did really well at the show. Like I had people come all the way out to St. Pete. So I wasn't getting shows in Tampa, so I had to go all the way to St. Pete to do shows, me and Yism. And we was rocking out. We was having people coming all the way out there. And he was like, yo, I got this this R&B joint going on. I want you to pull up. You'll perform, you'll be the headline, all that. So, you know what I'm saying? I promoted it, sold tickets. And then like midway out the way, he just like took me off the show and say shit. So when I hit him up, I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? You took me off the show. He's like, I don't owe you that. I'm like, nigga, you asked me to headline the show. What you mean you don't owe me that? And he just left it like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. You think I'm pussy? Cool. So what I did was I went to the venue, I did a whole PowerPoint presentation, told them about the show, did the show, killed the show, and then now they wanted me to start doing that same night. So that's when I learned like the venues need people to be able to put niggas in the building during the off nights. So I'm like, okay, if niggas are liking my posts, if niggas liking the music, I need to be able to give them experience. So the reason why I started doing shows, because like I said, Mike, H, and Broken Mode, is because I wanted to be Busch Gardens. I wanted to be Disney. I wanted to be Epcot when you came to my shows. Because when I pay my 100 and change and I go to Emily Arena to see Childish Gambino or Kanye or Travis Scott or Glorilla, they're giving me that. So I wanted to give my people that because I feel like that's what my bag is at. My bag is like having you see my world if you're in my domain expansion. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in my domain expansion, it's like I can show you everything. You're like, oh, I get this nigga and this nigga's dope. But I can't do all that just from an MP3. So that's when we started doing shows. And as we were doing them, I was understanding analytics. I was understanding, you know, just basically like the consistency of the crowd. I just got better and better and better, put people on, did, you know, benefits. And then people started seeing how I move and they started booking me for shows. You know what I mean? Then then big shout outs to Bonds. He had put me on a show with me in Tokyo. So I was the only nigga that day. I had my drummer there. I had all my niggas there. We was like giving out honey buns and splashing the kids with the water. But that experience is the reason why he has faith to be like, yo, anytime I'm doing a show, I'm gonna tell these guys about you and put you on. And it's always been like that. So, you know, I just think that it just came from me wanting to just be an organized circus. I think that's what made me want to do shows. I love shit like that. So, you know, I want to reflect the same thing.
Anything else you want to leave with the people?
Well, I mean, yo, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. I go by Pusha Prime, 1/4 of the Ones and Assassins, your favorite mask assassin, hip hop Afro fusion band. I'm just like anybody else out here, just a creator trying to get it, staying consistent. We have a lot of dope things that we're putting in place to be able to give creators a platform to be able to create. So, you know, everyone calls me Mr. Tampa will win. I feel like I showed it. I feel like other people showed it. And like now I just want the city to believe. I don't want niggas to run out the city because there's so much going on out here. It'll behoove you to leave the city. I call Tampa the home of second chances. I came out here with nothing. I was on the couch, writing, recording on, you know, a Dell laptop on Acid Pro. And then to be where I'm at today, you know what I'm saying, with the billboards, charting, all this other shit. And the accomplishment is not who make me what I am, but I think the consistency and the resilience that I have to make sure that I'm following the path that God put me on is what gave me the position to talk to you guys today here on Streets Top 10. So make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe, follow this movement. You guys are doing some incredible work here, telling stories, real stories from artists like myself and some that you guys love.